All right, what's up? Week 2, college football. Week 1, NFL. Davin, how are we?
We're doing terrific, ladies and gentlemen. I will tell you what. It's been a week. College football, second weekend. Crazy shit happened.
It was kind of crazy to watch some stuff. All right, we're gonna start off. What's your number one thing?
Boise State, Marshall.
Oh my gosh.
We were at this game in attendance.
Good seats, by the way, on the
Very
50,
good
the
seats.
53-yard line.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. We're in the student section this time. We had an inside man get us in there.
We got the plug.
Yeah, we had the plug with my mother actually, and she actually got to go down the field, so that was pretty cool for her. Good experience. Her first game ever is her first ever collegiate football game, and she's on the blue field, the iconic blue field. So a lot of people are pissed off at her and jealous. Run us through the stats real quick. What happened?
All right, guys. So as far as passing wise, Marshall's quarterback Isaiah, I scribbled his last name, so I can't read that, was 10 of 17 for 56 yards and an interception. Not very good.
That's it?
Yeah, they're more of a running team anyways.
We had the first half. Their halfback had 130-plus yards just in rushing. That's crazy.
He was good. Hank Bachmeier was 22 of 34 for 282, 1 touchdown and 1 interception.
That looks so much better on paper.
Yeah, it really does.
Than it actually is in person.
He played. I can't even begin to go into it, but obviously we were in Boise State's home stadium, and they're very, very biased towards their own players.
Yeah, the thing that I think that separates us from other people is we really don't have a bias towards a team. We want to see good football played.
Yeah.
We want to see like Hank Bachmeier is a good athlete, a good quarterback, but you can tell he's a true freshman quarterback. It shows full-heartedly. And when people are out here tweeting saying he looks like a seasoned veteran and he's poised in the pocket and he doesn't rush his throws,
that's just not true.
I want people to at least have an unbiased opinion when they talk about sports because it shows, and and then you have the drunk student section saying Hank for Heisman, and then we just don't need it.
Look, here's the problem with that. No disrespect to Hank whatsoever. He's going to be a great player. Just now through the learning curve of being a true freshman starter coming in, he's not going to be, a Brett Rippon, where even Brett struggled last year, and it showed in the bigger games.
Senior.
Yeah, so it's just frustrating to listen to all these people say Hank's the best quarterback like we've ever had and all that stuff. It's just that's not true right now. He could potentially be, and don't get me wrong, he probably will be. He's going to be good, but right now, going through the learning curves of being a true freshman, you're going to have those setbacks. And this was one of the Boise State only won 14-7.
To be honest, it wasn't a fun game to watch.
No,
and
not at all.
It's a lot of Boise fans were thinking that Marshall's gonna come in, we're gonna roll over them, and that's not the case at all.
Yeah, and
Marshall, like we were saying the whole game, Marshall's front seven on defense is
phenomenal.
Crazy. Their containment was great. They
so well-coached football team.
Yeah, Boise's been known for these strict kind of plays. They mess around and stuff. Marshall wasn't having any of it. No. I mean, they got a couple big runs off, nothing major. Mahone, in comparison to the FSU game, had no yards. They took him out and put the second stringer in.
Yep.
And we had a couple Boise State had a couple of screenplays break out. But other than that, it wasn't anything bad. Even though in the second half, Marshall just didn't do anything.
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
They had almost 0 yards total in the second half.
And give credit to Boise State for that. I don't know what they do at halftime, but they came back. Shut out Marshall in the second half, just same as they did to Florida State.
2 weeks in a row, yeah. Anyway, a good game. I mean, Boise State won, so I mean they're leading the Mountain Western now for sure in wins. So
they got a home game against Portland State next week.
Yeah, and that's another one. I think that
they should handle.
They should handle that pretty easily.
If they don't, there's going to be issues.
That should be a high-scoring game for them. But if it's not, it's kind of proving what we're saying is that we want to see Boise. It can say talk the talk and they walk the walk. Be consistent and fight go against other teams that are going to be showing more. But all right, we went on a little tangent. Let's move on to the next game.
We're going to do Army, Michigan. Now, Army's one of those teams where a lot of people are like, oh, they're really not that good. But, I mean, they almost came into Michigan's home stadium and almost beat them. Stat-wise, nothing real impressive here, except for Michigan's true freshman running back. Zach Charbonnet had 33 rushing attempts for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns as a true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive to me. You see in these some of these college games, they're starting to let true freshmen really, start and get legit playing time. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of crazy, but Michigan only won 24-21 in their home stadium. Shea Patterson did not do very well. He was 19 of 29 for 207.
Yeah.
Give credit to Army for going in there, high hoped. It's the same thing last year. They went into Oklahoma and they almost beat them.
Yeah, we were talking about Oklahoma a lot during that game because, what was it, since 1963, Army hasn't beaten a top 10 team.
They beat Penn State, I'm pretty sure,
and so it's kind of nuts to think about that because last year they had the opportunity against Kyler Murray, mm-hmm. and they pulled it out in OT. Same thing this week. Michigan should, what you would expect, But I was telling Davin that people, they don't think about these military schools much, but they have to be in top physical condition. And, I think nowadays people are wanting to join the military and also play football. So when you go there, that's what we were saying, these teams, when people are going to overlook them pretty easily, and they're going to be leaner, they're going to be stronger, they're going to be a little faster and have great endurance. And that's just how it is because they have to be.
Those triple option teams, mm-hmm. they're always tough to play, especially if you're not, a very disciplined defensive team. You're going to miss assignments. You're going to give up, gashing runs, and they'll really just wear and tear on you. They hold the ball for a long time as far as time of possession. They just grind it out.
Yeah, and that's what we were saying while we were watching the game.
Yep.
Because they got so one-dimensional, that's probably the one reason they lost.
Right.
They couldn't get into a certain spot. And then they had a true freshman kicker, his first ever collegiate kick.
To win the game.
And it was like 52 yards or something. Yeah, it wasn't, and you feel bad or whatever, but it's at the same time, it's like, what do you expect is going to happen?
Yeah, the true freshman never kicked a field goal.
He hasn't kicked a single field goal. So, I don't know. Crazy game. Good game to watch. Fun.
Really good game.
But
I like seeing upsets. It always makes college football more interesting.
I know. Michigan's got to step the hell up.
Okay.
All right, what we got next?
Texas A&M and Clemson. Clemson won 24-10. This Clemson team this year, everyone's hyping up Trevor Lawrence.
He's not there.
He was 24-35 for 268, threw a touchdown and an interception. So for being a Heisman hopeful at the beginning of the season to two below average games to start the year, it's kind of concerning. I just don't know how they're going to stack up against, say, Alabama again at the end of the season.
Yeah, because we all know Alabama's going to at least get to the end every year.
They always do.
But Trevor Lawrence has not been showing his full potential, and it's interesting to me. And hopefully, it could just be these 2 games. You never know,
right?
Because that's the beauty of college football in general. Like, it can one game a guy can just spring, and it can change the entire thing. So that'd be pretty cool. But we were talking about true freshmen. I didn't know last year when he was a true freshman, he was actually 19 years old.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
I think that's another thing that ties into why they are doing these true freshmen. I think these guys, people they've been doing it in Bama for a while. And down in the Midwest, around Missouri and stuff, more southern, what kids do is they do another year of middle school, so they're about 15 when they go into their freshman year, and then they're playing 4 years lettering in high school football, and then they're an extra year ahead of the whole class. And I think that it's a smart, but also it's kind of like they're not really true freshmen because their bodies are so much more developed.
Sure.
But anyway. Yeah, Clemson's going to step up. Their defense is really well. They did really well.
Yeah,
so,
even though they did lose some of their front 7.
The Power Rangers.
This year's, their class of defensive linemen and linebackers, they're still legit players. I'm sure some of the Power Rangers, if you will, kind of took some of the younger guys under their wing and taught them what they know and technique-wise. And that's a big thing in college football is if you have a team that's bought into their success, the team's success, you're going to have older guys helping the younger guys figure things out, like what actions, stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting to see, especially with that happening at quarterback. Who's backing up Trevor Lawrence? I mean, if that guy gets injured or he just doesn't produce, they're gonna sit him. That's just the name of the game. That's why the guy that was there, he transferred, and then
he's doing
Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts transferred, and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting season to watch if that doesn't pick back up.
For sure.
Going to Alabama again, it's just like it's like watching high schoolers play middle schoolers, or it's like playing a high school team for them.
It's bad.
They're playing New Mexico State, which again in the Mountain West we like to see. Maybe Boise State should play Alabama one day. I don't think it's gonna ever happen, but it's just kind of crazy to see this Mountain West team. It's a money thing for sure,
definitely,
but. And what would you say? You had told me that you saw an interview with Saban.
Yeah, I saw an interview with Nick Saban after that game. The reporter's like, why are you guys playing like some of these lower tier teams? And he said, I would rather play Power 5 teams every week. I'd rather have 12 SEC games, but no one wants to play us. And he told the reporter, like, you can call someone if they want to play us, we'll play them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't blame some of these other teams. They don't want to get beat up by Alabama because they always have that rap of being a team that is just always solid, always has players, everything that ties into that.
They're the Patriots of college football.
Exactly.
And it's frustrating. Like, I mean, good for Alabama, good for this college, good for this university, of course. But, these kids aren't getting anything out of it. And I think when it comes to recruiting today, there's kind of two ways of looking at it. It's like, I can go to this top tier school and freaking go play for the best coach in all of college football and blah, blah, blah. Or go D2, go D3, go FCS, NAIA, and just play your heart out, get the stats you want, and then get recruited from there,
Right.
It's weird and interesting to see that dynamic because there's these in-between schools. So you have like these top tier like Alabama, LSU, and stuff like that. And then you have the bottom with, like Montana Tech and NAIA. No one's thinking about Montana Tech. Or I went to Ashland University, D2. But you get guys coming out of there, and then there's thousands upon thousands of guys in the in-between that you never even hear of. So it's kind of odd to think about it. But
For sure.
Going from there, LSU.
LSU and Texas.
LSU, man.
It was a great game. LSU ended up winning that game 45-38.
I wish I watched it all.
Their quarterback was very, very efficient. He was 31 of 39 for 471 yards and 4 touchdowns. He did happen to throw a pick, but that doesn't negate the day he had.
But when you're throwing that much, too, you got to expect it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did really, really well. And even Sam Ehlinger from Texas, he was 31 of 47 for 401 yards and 4 touchdowns with no picks.
How much did this buy?
45-38.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was a close game.
Yeah.
And it was a good battle. I mean, LSU went up to number 4 in the AP rankings or whatever. And that I really wish we would have had time to watch some of that game because, I mean, the score is super high for a college football game. But
oh yeah,
that's kind of why I like watching college football is because some of these scores get pretty crazy. But I mean, overall, good game by both teams. LSU is always one of those teams out of the SEC that's really consistent. Texas is on the uprise with their quarterback being a little bit younger and he's developing more, and it really shows.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. Again, it's going to be just an interesting season, I think, just all around because you have LSU, this quarterback, you never know how he's going to produce. Another great quarterback for Oregon. Herbert, right?
Yeah,
correct? Justin Herbert. That was a joke of a game.
I don't understand. That's another one of those situations where, I mean, you're a Pac-12 school. Obviously you got to fill up your schedule, but like a Nevada team that hasn't been good in years, like, come on, guys. Like,
we believed that they would, because they won last week to Purdue.
Yeah, they beat Purdue.
That was a good win.
That was a good game.
But we thought they were going to do better than that, at least. We actually were saying, man, if they could beat Oregon,
that'd be cool.
That'd be a crazy thing for them. But we were kind of saying, again, it's like we care about the Mountain West Conference a lot, so we're just like, man, it'd be a good competition to see against Boise State. Just to see, like, it's not like we want Boise State to suffer and die, but, the quarterback's strong, 13 for 25, 89 yards, 2 interceptions, was sacked 3 times. And then the backup was sacked 2 times. It's just,
Malik Henry play?
No, McClurg. Malik Henry from ICC. Last Chance U, season 3. He's on Nevada. He went and walked on there.
Made the team.
He was in second position for quarterback during spring ball. So, but yeah, to not even score a touchdown, just 2 field goals. The score was 77-6 Oregon. That's just yikes. I don't know. But and another one, Penn State. Penn State's playing these games. They're week 1, Idaho Vandals. Not competition at all.
No.
It's the same as Alabama versus New Mexico State. This week, Buffalo. Buffalo's been good, been decent in the past. They produce good players, but
Matt came out of Buffalo.
You got a Big Ten top 15 in the nation. It's just like who else is gonna fill up their schedule? I don't know. We're just gonna kind of hope that some teams, instead of going for just trying to get like money and get a better record, I feel like we should teams should be looking to get better playing. Like you have top tier athletes playing each other. Like that's what we want to see. And I don't know about you guys, but that's what we want to see. It
makes things more fun. I don't like seeing these smaller schools just get throttled just for money because Penn State or Alabama couldn't fill up their schedule with legit competition.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at some of the games. Tulane. Auburn won 24-6. Western Michigan versus Michigan State, 51-17. Michigan State. Oklahoma, South Dakota, 70-14. I don't, what's the point of watching? We all want to sit down on college football Saturdays and sit down and enjoy these games and watch it with people and have some beers and whatever and just. But they're hard to enjoy, and I guess on the other side of the spectrum, I bet a ton of people would have enjoyed if Boise State throttled Marshall 60-7.
I wouldn't have enjoyed it.
But we're more critical. We're when you aren't a normal fan, when you've played collegiate football, when you have played at the top level, it's hard to kind of go back and just say, I just don't care. I want my team to win only, and my team to be the best, and to score all the points, and to throttle everyone. I don't want to see that. And that's the thing. I don't have my own team. Like my team in the NFL is the Giants, and I've been a Giants fan since day one. I've been a Giants fan when they won Super Bowls. I'm a Giants fan when they lose to the Cowboys by over 20 points. So
it's a good segue into the NFL. Actually, we really want to talk about the young OC for the Dallas Cowboys, Kellen Moore.
We're shooting back to Boise State. I'm sorry, but
that guy, coming from Boise State, like I watched the whole game between the Cowboys and the Giants, and the announcers were saying that when he was younger, he would sit down with his dad and just draw up plays.
Yeah.
So to see him do really well in the highest competition of the game, it's pretty rewarding. I know you don't like it because the Giants lost, but it's impressive to see a young guy come in like that and start calling the shots and have him do well.
But again, like I said, I don't want to be biased towards. Like I said, I want the Giants to be all. I mean, of course, I'd be like, they're like the Patriots. They got all these championships, but you got to give credit where credit's due.
Right.
He came in, the play action passes he put in, the play action and the misdirection plays he added. With the targets they have. I mean, they got Randall Cobb in the offseason. Yep. They got Gallup, which is a second-year rookie. second year in the league, and he had some crazy catches yesterday. Amari Cooper. They got Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, if you listen to that, they have one of the best O-lines in the league. They have Jason Witten back. Elliott didn't produce as well as I thought he would, but he still did great.
Exactly.
Stats.
For sure.
But Kellen Moore, to see that, I think that it should open people's eyes also that are in like you're in my position too. If you're in college, like I think Kellen Moore knew in college, like college was his game.
Yeah.
He would, if in context purposes, Kellen Moore was basically the Johnny Manziel of the West Coast.
Yep, he was 50-3 in his time as a starting quarterback at Boise State.
He has almost every record at Boise State, and for him going into the league, he get drafted. I don't think he got drafted. He might have got drafted late round or signed free agent. But he went to Dallas. He backed up for a couple years and then just slowly progressed into being a coach for that organization. And I think that's something that people should realize. Like, even for your own alma mater, your college, your high school, if you enjoy the game like he does, and you're smart with the game, and you can read coverages, and you know all this stuff. Because Kellen Moore, if he wasn't 6'3", 220 pounds, he wasn't this jack guy that could be the all athletic, the all top quarterback. He can barely see over the O-line for Dallas right now, but he loves the game. He knows the game. Those who can't teach, and coaching's teaching, and we love to do the same. We train kids right now, but
it's something. If you truly love in athletics, like, sport-wise, you truly love the game, and you get to the point where you can't play it anymore. You want to help someone else succeed in that game based off your knowledge from the game.
There's our little plug for Adaptive Athlete Labs. Go check us out on Instagram.
Follow us on Instagram.
But I think another guy that follows that same thing is Gardner Minshew.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's crazy. Nick Foles is on injured reserve now. He's gone. He's done. Gardner Minshew, for those who don't know, too, graduate transfer, went to Washington State, did very well, got picked up in this year's draft. He's the one that got clocked in the preseason against the Ravens. Go look up that highlight. That was a great freaking play. But it was he stepped up. He went in. Jacksonville lost, but he stepped up, and I hope to see him have a great season now because he's a starter.
Yeah.
Side note: Jacksonville also did just pick up Josh Dobbs from Pittsburgh, so they do have an extra quarterback just an off chance because you got to have some numbers.
Yeah, I mean, for being a young guy, for a rookie coming into the league, and to be as efficient as he was, a lot of people don't understand. You go from playing high school sports, to college, and the college teams consist of everyone that was the best on their high school teams across the country. And then you get into college, you do your 4 years, and then the elite from the college go to the NFL. Mm-hmm. And even sometimes they don't even make it. So it's literally the elite of college football. Everything's quicker, everything's faster, you gotta be quicker, you gotta make your reads quicker, the windows are tighter, the windows close faster, everything that goes along with that. And to see a rookie come in and play as efficiently as he did, it's really surprising. I'm very happy for the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he was 22 for 25, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked once, and he threw 1 interception.
That's pretty good for a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to take this interception and just kind of hold it to his throat, and I think that's stupid. But, I think it's great. I think that hopefully, I think you just need some receivers, honestly. Receivers for Jacksonville aren't these hot shots, but they have some good guys.
Westbrook, he's decent.
But they like I said, they just need some more targets from them.
Yeah, so I'm a Chargers fan.
Yeah,
let's talk a little bit about the Chargers game. Playing an Indianapolis team that just lost their franchise quarterback because he retired at a young age, and people were giving him hate. I hate that. Like, you can't. A lot of people don't understand how much and how hard it is to, keep rehabbing yourself from injuries. And I saw a tweet about Andrew Luck saying, "Oh, that's such a millennial thing because it's too hard to do rehab." And I'm like, dude, you're an idiot, first of all. Second of all, that takes courage is what it takes to understand your body. Like, no one knows your body like yourself. So if you think you're done, then you're done. Like, that's how it is.
Yeah.
And I respect Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck gave us 6 great years of football. I'm pretty sure he was injured for 1 whole season. He didn't get to play, but the Chargers squeaked out a dub. And, being a Chargers fan last year, it was devastating to see him lose to the Patriots. But, I mean, what are you going to do? It's the Fritzen Patriots, and they just picked up Antonio Brown. This is why I don't like the league sometimes because, realistically, who's going to beat the Patriots now?
Yeah.
Maybe the Chiefs, maybe. And even then, defensively, the Chiefs aren't solid.
They got no lockdown corners for the receivers that they have right now.
The Patriots, they have Josh Gordon. They have Antonio Brown, Julian Edelman. Their running back, Sony Michel, is really, really good. Tom Brady, obviously, is ridiculous.
James White has the the Super Bowl receiving record as a halfback. They also have this other guy picked up from D2 that got a walk-on tryout for him, and he killed it. So another little white guy that the Patriots got. And I mean, like, it's getting crazy. But, going back to the Chargers game, Phillip Rivers still had great numbers. He got sacked 4 times, bro.
Yeah, I know. Their O-line is, and maybe that's one of the reasons Melvin Gordon's kind of holding out is because, the O-line isn't up to his par, if you will. But,
sure.
I mean, even then, Austin Eckler played a ridiculous game. He was very efficient running and receiving wise.
He was a ground and pound. Yeah, he was a ground and pound guy that game. He had almost double the amount of yards receiving than he did rushing. But
you love to see that.
Yeah, but that's what scares me because when you look at these stats, they're very one dimensional. Their rushing yards is only it's a little over 100, but their passing yards was 333. Mm-hmm. That's kind of nuts, but. You got to step into it. And Jacoby Brissett, I'm happy for the guy. He also had a lot of respect for Andrew Luck.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, he came up and showed up. 21 for 27, 190 yards,
really
2 touchdowns, was sacked twice. And I think that's the thing with the Colts as well. Their line is not super hot. Whose line is hot this year is the Giants. They just aren't producing.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I said it before the game. I told Jake's brother, I was like, listen, if you're the New York Giants, you need to be giving Saquon at least 30 touches a game.
Yeah.
He had 11 carries for 120 yards. Ridiculous. And he also had 4 receptions. I don't think that's enough for him to get the ball. And then at halftime, the announcer said the exact same thing that I said. They were like, yeah, you need to give Saquon the ball more. I'm like, you know what? Yes, you definitely do because he's an animal. Like,
his first run was 60 yards.
Yeah, man. He's ridiculous.
And I don't know, his yak also, yards after contact, was just ridiculous. It's nuts. The guy, not one person can bring him down.
No.
And it's ridiculous. This guy, he's on a different level, and I just hope he's not one of those guys that sits in this team and they just don't produce. It's going to come down to secondary for the Giants and their
they don't have
a pass rush. Dexter Lawrence they picked up. He made some good plays, but you got no edge rush, and it's gonna be hard when you can't contain that either.
Nope.
So I don't know, but know who showed up?
Evan Ingram.
Oh,
played really, really well.
He's a sleeper. If you don't have him on your fantasy team, pick him. He's one of my first picks every year, this past 2 or 3 years, because I see him. He is a receiver from the tight end position, and he can block, and he's a lean, athletic guy. I was happy for him. Happy for Sterling Shepard. He got a couple good catches in there. We don't even have Golden Tate yet.
Yeah, he's coming back. He'll be back.
I don't know why, but Daniel Jones got in, and he fumbled.
He did. I saw that. And, that's another rookie where, he was just trying to do too much. He was trying to get the first down on his legs. He didn't, obviously it's different going from preseason to the actual games because everything's, faster, quicker, everyone hits harder, and over time he'll learn. Eli's taking him under his wing. I heard the announcers were talking. Eli really, really likes the guy. So he's going to teach him everything he knows. And, by the end of this year, hopefully he'll be ready next year if Eli does decide to retire finally.
Yeah.
Which is something Giants fans have been wondering if he's going to do year after year.
But, that's what I'm saying. I don't
That's
understand.
another thing, like you were saying, like I personally don't think they're going to win with Eli in there. Like they don't, no disrespect to Eli Manning. He's done really, really good things throughout his career, but there comes a time where you got to be like, okay, I can't do much more for this team.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what Andrew Luck did. He's like, what else can I do for this team? And I think also in the back of his mind, he's just like, there's no point anymore. Like, why is there a point for me? I'm not playing the game I love. I'm not doing what I love. Because for those of you who don't know, he went to Stanford for architecture. He's a renowned architect. So he's gonna be fine. That's the thing too. When some of these guys like Andrew Luck, smart dude. He's not all football. He's not. He's a smart guy. He has other things that he wants to do, and that's I think that's the point of it. And Eli, maybe he wants another ring. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't. We don't know. But I don't like the fact that we did put Daniel Jones in that situation against a rival team.
Right.
I don't think that he should have been in it at all. But it is what it is now. But as time goes on, hopefully we get into a good winning position, not a losing position. More like the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, my goodness.
Holy crap.
People were disrespecting Lamar Jackson saying you should switch positions and saying you should do this and should do that. He came out and proved himself to be a true quarterback. 17 of 20. He only had 17 completions.
I know.
For 324 yards, 5 touchdowns with no picks.
Hollywood Brown, baby.
If that doesn't give you an idea of how much Lamar Jackson wants to prove to people that he's just not a pure runner, he can actually sling the ball around. This game proved it. I mean,
his rushing also, Lamar Jackson 3 attempts, 6 yards.
Yeah.
So just that, I mean, I can't believe their receiving core it was under the radar because they have young guys. They got Hunter Hurst, tight end, who had 3 receptions for 41 yards. It's a good producing tight end.
Yep.
And then you have Hollywood Brown, baby, 4 receptions, only 4 receptions, 147 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is just ridiculous. Go pick him up in your fantasy league right now because I'm telling you, he's going to stick with it because. That guy, his route running is just crisp, and he gets open really easily. He's an elusive player. He works hard. He works with Gold Feet Global. Mm-hmm. Go follow them on Instagram. Great workouts for receivers or DBs. But yeah, I mean, even RG3 got in there, 6 for 6, 55 yards. Yep. Baltimore just showed up, and apparently, I don't know if you saw this, but Dolphins players at the end of that game, I think about like 12 players had contacted their agents about requesting a trade.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so Dolphins got to be figuring something out. Josh Rosen didn't even play.
Yeah,
I think that people gave the Cardinals a lot of heat about that, and he can't do anything. And maybe it's the O-line again. You never know. I mean, they gave up 3 sacks yesterday, and there was a total of 2 touchdowns between Fitzpatrick and Josh Allen. So you never know what's going to happen out there. Again, I don't think they have the best receiving core, and I don't think they have the best halfback in Kenyon Drake. But Miami's going to have to figure something out and do something different because whatever they're doing ain't working. But the Cardinals are pretty happy right now. I think they're pretty happy about what happened yesterday. To come back from like a 20-point deficit is pretty nuts.
Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. I don't think Kyler Murray's going to make it out of this year as far as the NFL goes. He showed up. Don't get me wrong. The second half, he proved himself. Scored 18 points in the fourth quarter, but he was 29 to 54 for 308, 2 touchdowns and an interception. I just don't think realistically he'll make it in this league.
Yeah.
He's short. He does have the arm strength to do something, but personally, if I was him, I would not have passed up going to the MLB. Sure, you have to go through, spring training, the minor leagues, the affiliates to, work your way up to the actual team that you got drafted for. But in the longevity of everything, you can have such a long career in the MLB and make so much money.
It's kind of nuts. My thoughts on Kyler is I think he did well to pick back up. I mean, again, Larry Fitzgerald has some good plays in there. I don't think Kyler is that guy. He's not a Mahomes from what it looks like as of right now. There's nothing much to say about him at this point. But like I've been telling everyone else this. When was the last time Cardinals were actually really good? Maybe 2011 when they went to the championship.
Yeah, with Kurt Warner.
The Cardinals have been this stuck in the middle team that sometimes makes the playoffs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. O-line. It starts with the O-line. I will rather start with building an entire great line rather than starting with the quarterback. Just because if your quarterback feels secure and can build that chemistry even faster, it's going to come even better. But Kyler fits in that Kellen Moore kind of perspective. You know what I'm saying? He is more athletic than Kellen Moore is in every way, but I'm sorry, height plays a difference. And guys like Russell Wilson will prove you wrong, of course. But
there's always that one. There will always be that one. But
Doug Flutie,
statistically,
the Russell Wilsons, yes, statistically, it's hard, it's difficult, and when you don't have anything else going for you, like Russell Wilson came into a good Seahawks team, not a great,
solidified O-line.
A good O-line, a great halfback, good receiving core, actually great receiving core. Let's say that a great receiving core with Doug Ball and Golden Tate. Just as those 2 guys on the top of my head. But, I mean, when Kyler's coming into nothing, really. I mean, their defense hasn't been good. Their halfbacks have been decent. Receivers are great. But, you got no time. And now I think that, not height is like a major factor, but when he can't get certain angles, it's all about vision at quarterback, and you know that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can't see it, you can't see it. So we'll see how this year goes for him. I'm excited to see how it goes, and maybe something can switch up. But like you said, I think that he should just be switching to baseball. But
yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna go over one last game here for you. The Cleveland Browns Tennessee Titans game. Now, a lot of people were hyping up the Browns in the beginning of the offseason because, they got Odell. But here's the deal. When you trade away your offensive line for skilled players and you don't have time to get the ball to those skilled players, your team's not going to thrive. I watched that game too, and, it really showed. As far as offensively, Baker Mayfield really struggled in this game.
Really bad.
He was 25 of 38 for 285, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions.
3 picks, man.
Yeah, now they're going to have to figure something out, I mean, they did get Odell the ball 7 times, 71 yards. They got Jarvis the ball 4 times for 67 yards, but those guys should at least have, 8 to 10 catches each every game. They're legit receivers that can produce you yards and points. You just have to figure out a way to get them the ball.
Yeah, this is it's going to come down to the OC on this one, I think, honestly. Yeah. The play calling is going to have to be number one because you got too much talent. Like we just, again, I'm sorry for bringing up Kellen Moore again, but this guy, it's only his first or second year even being the OC, and he's, he just knows he can read defenses so well. And that system in Dallas, they have Kellen Moore, former quarterback. They have their quarterback's coach, who was also a former quarterback. So that system is very quarterback friendly, which is why you saw Dak Prescott thrive in it yesterday. And Baker can be that guy.
He could, absolutely.
He can easily be it. It's like I said, it comes down to that OC because you got to understand what you have. You have. When I say Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham, when I say that, I mean, okay, also, Giants fan, I'm sad that he went to Cleveland, but, I still love Odell full-heartedly. That guy is different. He's like Saquon. He's different. Jarvis Landry, he's different. And then you got Kareem Hunt's going to be back in a couple of weeks. Yep. But then you got, who is it? Chubb?
Nick Chubb.
He's
not Saquon level, but he's pretty solid.
You got these guys that have this talent, and they're not using it. Njoku, I got a guy's just a monster. If you guys want to be a tight end, watch him because he is what a tight end should be. But I just don't understand it. Like, I don't understand why the Browns have been doing this. About this week, though, for me, there's a ton of injuries. Mm-hmm. Injuries. Every game there's someone injured, and it was kind of crazy to me. And so I think that this whole protecting the quarterback thing and these targeting calls, it doesn't matter anymore because injuries still happen, and that's what people have to realize. I think this league has to realize that because sometimes, remember, were you watching the Army game with me? I think it was the part of the Army game. Michigan's halfback was running the ball right at the gut. He got tripped up by a linebacker. The safety came over and was going to tackle, and the guy was falling. And as he was going over the tackle, his head hit the halfback's head. It's a targeting call.
I thought it was BS.
Yeah, and then the guy gets pulled. He's out for the game. He's done.
And that's just something that, I respect people for trying to protect defenseless players, but there's a fine line where, if you're a defensive player, you're taught to tackle. And a lot of times when you're going for it and your weight's all falling down, like you can't just magically stop and pull yourself up like a puppet.
What are you expecting? Gravity's gravity, and even the announcers were saying the same thing. This shouldn't have been that call. That's a bad call because there's things you can't control. If I'm falling and someone's gonna hit me and they're gonna just go for, if they aim for my chest and I'm falling, they're gonna hit me in my head.
Yeah,
that's how it's gonna go. There's no stopping this. So, but again, injuries are the thing, and they're gonna happen. I mean, Tyreek Hill on injury reserve, Nick Foles injury reserve. Yep. So I mean, everyone start messing their fantasy team because you have to do this. But
pick up AJ Brown, Tennessee Titans from Ole Miss. He's legit.
Dude, I wanted to talk about this because I have a he's from Ole Miss. DK Metcalf versus AJ Brown. That's what I have right here because AJ Brown only had 3 receptions 100 yards and 3 receptions. That is crazy. I mean, Metcalf, again, I'm not bashing him by any means. 4 receptions, 89 yards, great. But A.J. Brown has been so shadowed by DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have a lot of respect for each other and everything like that. But when DK
friends.
Metcalf just gets all this hype because he's shredded, he's lean, he's strong. But what do they do with him in the games? It was go routes. If you make that guy one-dimensional, I know what a receiver hates. If you get in that receiver's face and you're strong and tough with him and you hit him hard, like if a prime Richard Sherman hit him press coverage, he would not be doing well.
Absolutely.
But both guys, good to see rookies doing well. I mean, it's cool to see.
Wide receiver, you baby.
No one else from Ole Miss? Evan Ingram, baby.
Evan Ingram,
no Ole Miss tight end, baby. Last two things I think we should go over. Antonio Brown to the Pats.
I am tempted to just stop watching the NFL entirely. I'm not even kidding.
You know how the season's going to end. But it's the same thing with college. Like, you know how the season's going to end. You know Bama's going to be in there. It's just who they play. And you know the Patriots are going to be there. And it's just who they play. I'm sure Patriots fans are freaking ecstatic. Yes, but again.
Hey, but listen. If you're an Antonio Brown fan, I hate you. Because
that's how you get fans hate people.
Is a problem in the locker room. And this means, listen, guys, okay, realistically, if Bill Belichick can't solve this problem and they cut him, no one is going to pick him up. I do not care how good he is. If he causes problem in the locker room, you can't have that as a team.
And that goes to the last thing I want to talk about. I think the league, it's an ego-driven league. We see it now, and I'm telling you, it starts with, in recent years, it's been going with, there was that lockout back in, I think, 2005, and then you come here to today's society, and you got Le'Veon Bell absolutely refusing to play for the Steelers. And he throws this baby tantrum and gets his money, which, again, is millions and upon millions of dollars.
Yep.
And we're two stupid little college kids that we are living off of $1,000 a month and, making our dues. So, and they're wanting, an extra $10 million, like Ezekiel Elliott. They were saying that Ezekiel Elliott hated the holdout. He didn't want to come. He didn't want to do it. If you don't want to do it, you truly wouldn't want to do it. You wouldn't do it.
And I think part of that is, I bet you their agents had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
Agents are greedy people, okay? Understand that. They just want money. If their players are doing well, the players they represent are doing well, they get more money. So they tell their players, listen, you need to request more money because you're good. And don't get me wrong, Le'Veon Bell, great player. Ezekiel Elliott, great player. Melvin Gordon, who's also holding out for my team.
Yes.
Great player. But there comes a point where, and I respect Melvin Gordon because he's tagging Austin Eckler on Twitter saying he's eating, he's doing really well. I respect that, I'm sure Melvin Gordon's a great teammate, but when money gets involved and you want more of it, it just is frustrating.
That's exactly what the announcers were saying about Ezekiel Elliott. They said they were asking people, who's that guy in the locker room? And they're like, Ezekiel Elliott's the guy. He's a great teammate. He makes us all laugh. He jokes around. He's personal with everyone. But it doesn't matter when it comes down to greed. It is a greedy thing. And like we were talking about this like 20 minutes ago. Well, actually no, an hour ago. But you have the NFL, this contact sport. No one's getting as much money as baseball players and basketball players, but there's less games. It all comes down to all this stuff. But millions of dollars. You're messing with millions of dollars, and it's a different thing. And I'm sure the term millions thrown around so easily today, but that can change someone's life. $1 million will change someone's life.
Absolutely.
And so, you have Dak Prescott trying to seek an extra $10 million. You got Ezekiel got his extra $10 million. And AB wasn't getting his money, so now he gets this 1-year deal for $15 million, but $9 million is guaranteed. Are you kidding me? Okay.
And he's eligible to play next week.
Yeah, and he gets to play it 1 week after he's signing. So,
stupid.
I don't know. This was kind of a crazy week that we had, not only in the NFL, but NCAA. So, I think it's going to be interesting to see. You're seeing Antonio Brown on the New England Patriots. It's kind of mind-boggling, to say the least. But you know what, guys?
Shooting the shit. Here's some projected scores for tonight's games. I'm going to take the Saints over the Texans, and I'm going to take the Broncos over the Raiders.
How much you taking Saints over Texans?
Saints, 20. Broncos,
They're going to win by 20.
Yeah.
They're going to win by 20.
Broncos are going to win by 20.
Oof. Raiders will be interesting to watch, I think, because you'll have all this animosity about, Antonio Brown's not here. And it's going to be interesting. I think I'm going to take the Raiders against the Broncos. I don't think the Broncos are going to win. I think that Flacco should be out the door already. But Saints, of course, I think the Saints is winning. Yeah. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Drew Brees.
Alvin Kamara.
Mike Thomas. You just have great players there. So we'll see how it goes. Week 3, meet us back here. We'll talk about it again.
Shoot the shit. See you guys later.
Peace out.